pretty smooth. So we're here in Mossel Bay having a squiz at the Mossel Bay 70.3 race course. So we've made the trip up from Stellenbosch and we're gonna have a look around, see what the course is about and bring you guys along. So I'm here with Matthew van Coller, one of the athletes that I coach, and he's having a crack at a 70.3 after he's been operating the short course scene. So yeah, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Matty?
Yeah, no, like Colin said, I'm Matthew van Coller. I'm more on the short course side of things, so like sprint distance, Olympic distance for SA, but yeah, I'm gonna give the 70.3 a crack this November. Will be my first one racing for Ironman for the kids. So yeah, we're gonna check out the course and see what's in store for the race. Yeah.
One eternity later.
And then the swim course is quite nice because the swell comes in from the sea, but it's quite protected by this long harbor wall. So in past years, it's been very quiet, very flat, like as close as you can get to a pool swim, without it being a pool swim.
And you swim past that harbour wall there, further out?
So nice thing is you stay just before it, so you're very sheltered from the bigger swell. Obviously wind dependent, there'll be a bit of chop, but normally it's been very flat. So you go fairly short out, maybe 300 to 400 meters. You left shoulder a buoy, and you go in quite a long ways towards the far side before you left shoulder another buoy and take it all the way into T1. So it's quite a short out from here.
And then past those rocks on the other side.
Yeah, quite far past those rocks. So the start and T1 are about a kilometer apart walking. So you obviously swim 300 out, hang a left for about a kilometer, and hang a left for maybe another 600 meters to come back into the shore.
Okay.
So it's been quite interesting because in the first year that they held it here, the undercurrent really blew people across and everyone ended up with really fast swim times. But then the past 2 years, it's actually done the opposite, where the course has been the same, but the kind of undercurrent has pushed everyone out and times have been quite slow. Also people swimming not straight between the two buoys kind of because of the swell. Not the swell, because of the current. So that's definitely something to kind of look out for race morning.
Okay.
And also be aware of is obviously swimming the quickest line.
And is it usually pan flat like this, or is it?
Yeah, it's always been very flat. Feels really mosey down to T1.
Yeah.
So yeah, the swim course will come. You can just see the harbor wall in the distance, about a kilometer left, and then you pop out just in this little, harbor, if you will. Yeah, then you run straight up this grass, up the steps, into transition. It's quite a simple one.
And I assume there's going to be a buoy out here.
Yeah, there'll be siding buoys all along the way, and I think probably an arch or something of the like.
Oh yeah.
When you get out. So yeah, I can't miss it, I must say. Yeah, and then through the deep sand up the steps, definitely a way to gas yourself. So it's actually quite a hard run into T1, I must say. But yeah, so T1 kind of goes up these steps. Yeah, so that's one thing that you'll definitely not be used to from the ITU background, is that they have transition bags. So they'll have big racks with, everyone gets a red bag and a blue bag, and one of them's for run and one of them's for bike kit. And so you come into transition, you find your number, grab your bag, and then you go in and change. Okay. And then as you leave again, you have to put all your stuff in there, in the bag, chuck it out, and then you go onto the bike. Sure. So it's a bit different to ITU style, where everything's on your bike in your little position. Yeah. Here you're, like all the bags and transition tents will be here, and then bikes will be everything that way.
Okay.
So as you come in, you normally would look for your number on the top of the rack, and then you just follow that number down, grab your bag off. And then there'll be helmet, probably number, maybe gels. And then you put your swim cap and wetsuit in the bag, tie it up, chuck it off, and then you go out and ride.
And do we rack that bag day before? Is that?
Yeah, so you have to rack everything. So bike and the bags day before.
Okay.
Yeah, so that definitely is
something
quite different, and also logistically feels overwhelming because you have to think quite well about what do you put in your bag before. Because yeah, you can still access it race morning though.
Okay, so you can take like bottles and stuff.
Yeah, you can still, you bring your nutrition probably race morning. Everything
Okay.
else I would chuck in the bag already.
Okay, cool.
The nice thing about this really long transition is that it gives you some time to manage yourself well in the transition. You know, you spend quite a lot of time running from the changing tent to your bike. You know, if you have a little bottle with electrolytes or water or maybe even a gel in your transition bag, it gives you, you know, a nice amount of time, kind of free time. If you're going to spend running anyway, you might as well use it to fuel. And especially after the salt water, it could be nice to rinse the mouth a little bit, get out of that like really tight, salty flavor to, you know, to hop on the bike and feel good off the bat. So weird thing on this bike course is that once you get your feet in the pedals, if you put your shoes on the bike already, is that it only gives you about 400 meters before you start to climb. And you start to climb quite steeply, quite quickly. Okay, so man, I just have a quiz here. This is genuinely like first thing out of transition. This is the climb that when we drove down, we didn't come down this. But this is that first climb. It takes probably about 2 or 3 minutes to the top, and it's definitely not a climb where you're in position. It's definitely a bit steep for that. But so you're definitely like straight out of transition, actually on the pedals, on the power, until you get to the top of this, and only then do you really settle in. So it's quite a hard start to the course, in fairness. So obviously after this first climb, which is about 3 minutes to the top, it's gonna flatten off for like 8-9 Ks, but it still falls flat uphill. There's a few like small rollers, but there's not heaps to ride home about. But it's very exposed to the wind. So if it's a breezy day, that's quite a tough section. And then you hang a right, and that's where the fun part of the course really starts. So that whole section, kind of between kilometer, call it 12 or 13, and kilometer maybe 35, is pretty like rolling, undulating hills. So there's barely any flat. So you're constantly playing with the power, where you're pushing a little bit over, going up the hill, recovering nicely, going down the hill, pushing over up the hill, recovering nicely down the hill. They're definitely short enough that if you push enough power, you can really carry your speed over the top.
Yeah. But obviously still keeping pressure on the pedals like that.
Yeah, exactly. They're also they're not that steep that you can't pedal, nor are they that long that you can't pedal. So you got to definitely keep some pressure on the pedals. The one thing that might be hard now, because you'll be riding, say 200 watts, is that you won't be pushing as much power, but you can maybe get a feel for riding those rollers. But it's kind of like doing 20 kilometers of over-unders. Which is quite tough. And then, yeah, so it's rollers, but it's kind of net uphill. So as much as you're going up and down, you do trend up. Then from kilometer 35 to the turnaround point, it's actually all downhill. But it's also one of those downhills where you keep pressure on the pedals.
Yes.
Then, yeah, obviously the return is much the same. It's about 2 Ks flat into a climb that for you, Maddie, at race pace will probably be just shy of 15 minutes. And then again, riding those rollers back and then down to this false flat downhill, down the descent into T2. So yeah, being prepared, I think for the main part is for being thrown around a little bit by the wind on this first 10 Ks, and then being prepared to ride over-unders over those rollers is what's going to help you get a nice bike split here. So these are these rollers that we talk about. Maddie's on maybe a 45-50 second descent, and now what he's going to try and do is really carry his speed on this flat, and then he's going to surge his power a little bit so he carries all the speed over the next little bit of an incline. Yeah, and this goes for 10-15 kilometers where you're just constantly playing with the power, riding this undulating terrain. And Mossel Bay in total, I think it has about 1,200 meters of climbing. But really, there's only 2 big climbs, one at the start, one at halfway. And most of the elevation, you kind of gain over these like smaller speed bumps. That is, where the elevation's a little bit hidden by how small it is, but how frequently it comes. I think those long like rollers.
They're nice. They're not too steep, so you kind of can stay in the big ring. And obviously also in position.
Yeah.
And then the downhills are quite fast, so yeah, just trying to hold pace and just carry it over and then cruise down. Yeah.
Sweet. Good stuff. Okay, I think it's kind of hard to gauge when you're going down, but the climb back up at about 260 watts, if you're weighing about 70 kilos, takes about 15-ish minutes, give or take. So if you ride it
from here to the into
from when the climb starts, so you'll probably ride 2Ks flat, and then once the climb starts, it takes about 15 minutes to where you get sort of back to those rollers, falls flat down, back to the start.
Okay, cool.
Or back to the N2 at least. So yeah, this initial climb is actually a bit longer than it may seem when you're coming down it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a climb where you settle in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool, so we're back at transition. Now we're gonna go have a recce of the run. So you go straight out of transition, hang a left, and then for about 2Ks, it's kind of the only flat-ish run section on this whole course. After that, you run a little bit false flat up the hill, short descent, flat, and then it starts with all the climbs, descents, climb, descents, corners, and then we come all the way back down here, false flat, and do a UE for 3 laps on the course before you finish. So yeah, try and find your rhythm straight out of transition on this only flat section before you get into the hills. Take on the nutrition here before it gets spicy, I reckon. So we've got 2.5Ks done, and this is where the fun stops. You hang a ride up this abomination of a hill.
We have to go up now.
Up at the second climb, aid station just on the left here when you hang the left. So grab that cup of water, hang a left, smack the gel or some precision, recover into the next little descent. Going onto the cliff path here. Yeah, it's very choppy left, right, quite narrow. So it's hard to find rhythm in general on this whole course, but especially on this section because it's so windy. But yeah, if you're a real rhythm runner, it'll be good to try and practice running something else because this course does not allow rhythm. So coming down this bridge signifies that you're almost at the end of the coastal path, which means you're almost back to freedom on the flatter, straighter roads. So Matty, you mentioned earlier, obviously first Ironman, but you're doing it for Ironman for the kids. You want to tell us a little bit about the foundation and what you're trying to do for them?
Yeah, so I'm racing for Ironman for the kids. They're a charity foundation that raises funds for local children's charities. So disadvantaged kids around the Mossel Bay area. They're raising funds for them, and super cool initiative. So I'll wear one of their orange shirts and just do it for a good cause, you know.
Very cool. And where can people donate or get involved?
So you can find my link if you just search Ironman for the kids and you click on the Mossel Bay 2025 option. You'll find my name somewhere down there and a few other heroes who are doing it for charity. So please, if you guys have a bit of extra cash, donate. All goes towards disadvantaged kids.
It's very cool that it's in the local community, and it's a very tangible difference that's really felt like in the vicinity of the race organization.
Awesome initiative. So I'll go help out
and give you a bit of extra boom on the race course.
Exactly, giving back a bit to the community, you know.
That's awesome stuff, dude. Home stretch, back to transition and the U-turn. Then after the UE, it's 2 more laps, and then the last lap we go into the finish route. But then to finish, we'll come left onto what's now a parking lot, but obviously they build it up very nicely, and the finish arch is right here.
Right here?
Oh, sorry, it's right there.
Okay.
Right there in that parking lot. Cool. Reckon we gotta put in 1 or 2 reps, eh?
Yeah, let me practice.
Go practice, dude.
What do you rate, coach? Nice.
Good stuff. Sweet. So that's our course recce wrapped up. Matty, how did you find this?
No, super exciting course. Yeah, very from the looks of it, a nice swim, and then into a punchy climb, punchy bike. Lots of little stingers up and down, but you can carry your speed through them nicely. And then at the U-turn, there's probably an 8k climb back from the U-turn, so that's quite a tough one. And then from there, it's pretty standard. And then the run, you can't really get into a rhythm. It's quite a hard run. Lots of also punchy climbs, but very exciting. Not too boring. So cool course altogether.
Yeah, heaps happening on this course, and a lot of turns, climbs, like a very fun race. So I hope this course recce was insightful for anyone watching. If there's any questions, please drop them in the comments, and we'll try and get back to you with all the insights that we have. And go and have a look in Matty's bio for the Ironman for the Kids Foundation.
And like and subscribe.
And we'll see you out here on November 17th.
Cheers.